Hello, my name is Luke Hobart, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today's subject I want to teach on is one of my personal favorite things to do, and that is worship. Now, if you've been a believer, if you've been attending church for a long period of time or even a short period of time, you might be familiar with the term worship, and you might even associate worship with music. And that's not a bad thing because music is very much a part of worship. You see, I have the privilege and honor to play the drums for our worship team. Every Sunday morning, I get to see people walk in here. They might be a little discouraged, they might have some stress, whatever the cause is. But I see them come in here, and at first they seem so drowsy, but they begin to sing. And by the end of the service, their hands are lifted up, and I can tell their spirits are lifted up as well. I get to see people transformed by the presence of God through worship. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Luke, I don't even play music. I don't play any instruments. Well, my friends, I've got some good news for you. I personally do not sing at all, but I know that my singing is worship to God, not because I can sing really well, but because it glorifies God. And you know what? Worship even goes deeper than that. It's not just music. It's a lifestyle. Francis Chan has defined worship as complete surrender to God and His ways. Now, why does worship even matter? Why are we even talking about it? Well, the reason why is because God made us human beings natural worshipers. Does that mean that we worship God all the time? Unfortunately, no, it doesn't. You see, there is genuine worship, there's superficial worship, and there's even false worship. You see, genuine worship is commitment, even if it means inconvenience for you. Superficial worship is essentially you have knowledge about God, but you don't really do anything about it. And false worship, well, essentially you just worship anything else. You see, worship, the very idea of worship begins and it ends with a relationship with God. Jesus Christ came down on earth and He made that possible for us. He made it possible to have a relationship with God. You see, we're born with a sinful nature, and that means that we cannot enter the presence of God, But because of Jesus Christ, because He was sent down on earth to die on the cross for our sins and to be raised from the dead, that means that our sins were crucified with Him. It means that we are resurrected with God when we put our faith in Jesus. Now, what does that look like practically for us? Well, I'm glad you asked. In John 4:23, it says that God the Father is looking for those who will worship both in spirit and in truth. And he even said that that's actually considered true worship. Now, if you dig into the Greek, it actually can read that true worship is by the help of the Spirit of truth. So, in essence, really, true genuine worship is surrender to God, and it's also dependence on God. If we can depend on God fully, then that means that we are worshiping Him. If we can obey God, that means we are worshiping Him. So my friends, worship is not just music, it's a lifestyle. It's having a relationship with God. And thank you so much for joining me today, and I pray that you have a very blessed day.